guys, it is Vlogmas day 7 and I cannot believe we are already a week into Vlogmas, although I am very tired. But today's vlog is a little bit different from the vlogs that you guys have been seeing and future Vlogmas vlogs. It is a video that I sat down and filmed yesterday. I did not plan to film that video when I did, and it was just something that was kind of on my heart that I wanted to share. And so I just want to say before you watch this video, I truly support every form of feeding your baby. And whether you breastfeed, formula feed, whatever you do, fed is best. And I would never put down anybody for feeding their baby a certain way. So just want to say that before you watch this. But I also want to show this cute little baby who's just hanging out over here. What are you doing, Grayson? What are you doing? Oh my goodness, you little giraffe. Today's video is about how I am no longer breastfeeding Grayson, and it was a very hard video for me to make, and I was very scared to share it with you guys, but I want to be transparent about our breastfeeding journey, so I just knew that it was important that I share this with you. So again, my little disclaimer before you guys watch this video is that fed is best, and with that being said, I hope you enjoy and find this helpful if you are struggling with this as well. Okay. I just wanted to sit down and talk to you guys. I am in Grayson's room. He is not sleeping in his crib right next to me. He snuggled me in our room, and do not worry, he is being supervised. Kevin is watching him, but I am doing his laundry, so his crib sheet and his bassinet sheet are in the washer. But I thought I would take this time to sit down and talk to you guys because there's something that I have been afraid to share, but also know that I need to share it. So here it goes. I am no longer breastfeeding Grayson, and it kind of makes me feel bad to even say that. But the truth is, I did start out breastfeeding and I did love it. But I just was not producing as much as Grayson needed. And so his pediatrician told me to go to pumping and bottle feeding him for the time being. And I was pumping every 2 hours, every single day. And my supply was still really not increasing. And it was hard. I mean, it was really, really hard on my body because I was trying so hard to do everything I could to get myself to increase my milk supply. And I know I even talked about it in some other videos on my channel. But I was just having such a hard time with it. And then I would start to feel really bad and feel like I was failing him, and it was starting to really stress me out, which is also really bad for your milk supply. It was just kind of, especially combined with all of the postpartum emotions, it was not a good combination, and it was really hard. I would cry. It was just not good because I was expecting so much of myself. I wanted to be able to produce ounces and ounces and ounces of milk for him, but in reality I just wasn't. And even after several days of pumping every 2 hours, I was still only producing an ounce or two, and that is just not enough to feed him, unfortunately. And so then I would be giving him formula as well. And then it was okay, now I have to go here to go to the doctor, his doctor's appointment. Now I have to go here. And it was really hard. And so he started just bringing formula with us. And I know that there are moms out there who breastfeed for a year plus or 6 months plus, and I admire you guys, seriously. It's very demanding of your body. However, I also really admire moms who formula feed, and I always told myself I am going to breastfeed that is just what I'm gonna do. And so when it came down to it, I was so excited to breastfeed Grayson. Then it just did not turn out how I expected it to be. I think that the issue began with the fact that, like, in the hospital, I was breastfeeding him, but it was just my colostrum. And then when we came home, we started supplementing. So 2 days after we came home from the hospital, he had his pediatrician appointment, and they gave us formula to supplement him with because he needed to gain weight, like, fast. And what we had to feed him was way more than my body was producing. So fast forward to like a couple weeks into his life, and I'm still giving him formula, but I was also breastfeeding him, and then I was trying to pump so that way I could get myself to produce more, and it was just like sheer chaos, and my body was miserable. And then we went to his appointment, and they said he needs to gain even more weight. And I know I mentioned that he was still way behind in his, as far as size goes, so for his age, and so we had to give him more food, and she was wanting us to feed him every 2 hours, and we would have to feed him like 3 to 4 ounces every 2 hours, and I just was not producing that. And so we would give him formula, and then we would give him formula again. It just got to a point where we even realized, like, I'm sitting here pumping and pumping and pumping and barely producing, but what I would produce I would give to him. I wasn't able to store it because there just wasn't enough to store. But I really do believe that because we started supplementing with formula in the beginning by instruction, which I'm so glad we did because I just want him fed, but because we did that, and we did that for a few weeks, it just like made my milk supply take a huge hit. Because in the hospital, he gained in the hospital, and they were shocked, and they were kind of actually impressed because they were like, oh my gosh, like all he has been drinking is your colostrum, and he's gaining, and that's amazing. And so they were very happy about that, and he was even good at latching, and we were on a really good path. And then we started supplementing, and I would not change that. I think that supplementing was the best possible thing that we could have done for him, because I wanted him to gain, and I also know that he was having trouble with pooping in the beginning, and so I really wanted him to be getting the nutrients that he needs, or that he needed at the time. And so I would definitely not take back that we supplemented with him. And even though it made my milk supply take a huge hit, and I have not been able to get back what I was hoping for, I'm thankful that he was gaining as much as he should be, and that at each appointment he's been gaining plenty. I think at his first weight check appointment he had gained 10 ounces, and they were hoping he would gain at least 7. So we were very happy about that. And then 10 days later he gained, I want to say 9 ounces, or 11 days later he gained 10 ounces. No, he gained 9 ounces. So, and that's because we were just like feeding him every 2-3 hours. We made it 2 to 3 hours after that first initial weight gain appointment, because she said it was okay, and also it was a little bit less of a concern. We just really wanted to get him into the 7-pound range. So she was very happy that he was like 7 pounds 6 ounces at the last appointment. But the unfortunate thing is, had I only have been breastfeeding him or pumping and then giving him that milk, it just wouldn't have been enough for him, especially at the rate that we were feeding him. And I have several thoughts about this, because I always thought that I would be that mom that breastfed. I just always thought I would. I hoped at least 6 months. I didn't know how long I would breastfeed. And my baby is 2 weeks short of 2 months old, and I'm not breastfeeding anymore, which I have told Kevin makes me feel really bad. I feel very guilty, and I won't lie to you. Like, I felt like a failure. I felt like I failed Grayson, because I just thought, like, why can I not do this? Why can I not produce a lot of breast milk? But then I just started having to remind myself that, fed is best. And I am just doing what is best for my baby. He was born a few weeks early. He needed that formula supplementation, and he needed that for his blood sugar, for his weight gain. It's just what he needed. But it was harder because I was not producing milk when I was in the hospital, and then I actually wasn't even producing milk when we came home. It took a while it took like almost 5 days, I think, for my milks to come in, and that was a lot. Like, I was really surprised how long it took, and I really do believe that it's because we immediately just started supplementing. But I just wanted to talk about that because I'm sure you guys have heard me in previous videos talk about how I was supplementing, but I was also breastfeeding, and then I updated and said I would be going to pumping and bottle feeding for the time being to get my milk supply up. And then in another video, you probably heard me say that I was giving him a bottle of formula. So it's been all over the place, and that is just because it was kind of a chaotic time. But now we are fully formula feeding, and I know that some people don't agree with that, but in my opinion, I think that fed is best, and I'm just very happy that Grayson is gaining weight as he should be, and that he's healthy and strong. I mean, he's so strong. This little boy, like, the videos of him doing tummy time, especially today, Kevin and I were like blown away at how long he was holding his neck up and how he was like literally his whole body, like his muscles are constantly working apparently. But that, yeah, I mean, he's a strong little boy, and though I did not make it nearly as long as I wish I would have with breastfeeding Grayson, I am thankful that he is healthy. Also, I do want to say everyone has a different experience with breastfeeding, formula feeding. You know, every mom is different, and I know that there are moms that have like an oversupply of milk, and that is amazing. I know that there's actually quite a few of those moms that donate breast milk to babies whose moms can't produce that much breast milk. I think that is incredible. I also know that there's women that struggle to produce any milk. Like, they're just like scrounging and trying so hard to get their bodies to produce more milk, and it just won't. And I kind of feel like, especially with Grayson, I'm in that category, and if that is you, do not beat yourself up, because that's what I was doing, and it is not a good feeling. I was putting so much pressure on myself, and I have even heard moms talk about how they put pressure on themselves when they were breastfeeding and it was just too hard. They said they won't do it again for their next baby, and I told myself, I'm not going to put pressure on myself. You know, whatever happens, happens. If I breastfeed for a year, awesome. If I breastfeed for 6 months, awesome. If I don't breastfeed at all, that's awesome. Like, I'm happy with whatever is best for my baby and for me. And so I just like told myself I'm not going to put pressure on myself. And then I put pressure on myself. And here we are. Looking back on it, wouldn't change a thing about supplementing Grayson. And for our next baby, who knows? I may try breastfeeding again, because I'm not against it whatsoever. Maybe if the circumstances are different and our baby is not born early, maybe the baby will be just fine with my breast milk and won't need any formula supplementing. Or maybe we'll just decide to formula feed. That is in the future, so we don't know. But this is like a promise I'm going to make to myself, because it sucked that I beat myself up for it this time, but I am not gonna beat myself up for it if I cannot breastfeed with our next baby. Now, everyone's motherhood journey is different, and however you decide to feed your baby, you know, that is amazing. And I did not even plan on doing this video for a long time, or doing this sit down for a long time, because I just was scared. Like, quite honestly, like, I don't know, I was afraid to share this with you guys. But I also want to be completely transparent, because I know that in my videos I have mentioned breastfeeding, I have mentioned pumping, and I mentioned supplementing. So I just wanted to clear that up with you guys and just explain why we are no longer breastfeeding and why we are feeding him formula. And again, at the end of the day, fed is best. So if your baby is fed, that is all that matters. So that is why I am no longer breastfeeding. Again, it was very hard for me to film this video. It was something I was very scared to share with you guys, but I also felt like it was very important that I did. And I really hope that if you are struggling with something similar, this video helped you feel that you're not alone. Tomorrow's video will be a lot more upbeat, and we will be back to our regularly scheduled fun Vlogmas videos. But before we end this one, I just want to show you guys this cutie. He's just sitting there making so much noise. So if you hear a bunch of little noises watching the intro or the outro of this video, it's Grayson. He wanted to talk to. I will see you guys back tomorrow for Vlogmas Day 8.